my lovelies. Welcome back to another Witchy Wednesday. Tonight we are going to talk about Yule and how do I celebrate it. And as we are talking about Yule and the practices of Yule, we're going to make a wish box together, a Yule wish box. It's something that my family and I have done for a couple of years now, a hot minute now. And I'm going to share with you one of our favorite traditions and show you how to make this item with stuff that are going to either throw away and also already have in the house. So if you're here, say hi, let me know. I'm going to switch my screen real quick so that way I can see you guys a little bit better or see your chat a little bit better. Uh, and then it'll look like I'm actually looking at you. So Yule, what is Yule? Yule is the celebration of the winter solstice. And depending on what path you walk, as far as paganism and witchcraft, depends on how do you celebrate it. Because Yule, I have seen celebrated in several different ways. Hey, Christine, how are you? How are you? So I've seen it celebrated in many, many different ways. And tonight I'm going to share with you the ways that I understand and the ways that I have looked up and researched. And I am asking if you have any understanding of different traditions of Yule or celebration of winter solstice. Share with me. What do you guys do? Let us know in chat how you celebrate this time of year. Christine, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. All right, what are you going to need if you want to play along tonight? I have about 2 ounces of flour, just regular all-purpose flour. I have some moon water. Now, you do not have to use moon water. You can use regular old water. What we're going to do with the water and flour is we're going to make a paste. So regular water will do. If you don't have flour and you're like, well, I can't do this. If you've got Elmer's glue, you can water down some Elmer's glue and use it the same way. We are going to actually do some, oh my goodness, my paper mache. My brain was like, I'm not talking to you. We're going to use some paper mache to actually cover this old cream cheese container. It's just a cream cheese container. I've actually used the lid to put paint in. Christine, hope you're doing great. You know nothing of Yule except people celebrate it. I'm down to learn anything about it, though. All right. So, like I said, Yule is celebrated on the winter solstice, which is December 21st. Now, there are 12 days of Yule, and there is also some practices that celebrate Yule for 2 months. In 2 months of Yule, the way that we celebrate it, I would be in a coma. Okay, it just couldn't happen. So I thought, though, it's neat because 12 days of Christmas, 12 days of Yule, and this is the only time, one of the few times. Okay, I'm not gonna say the only time. Not gonna use that qualifier. This is one of the few times that you're gonna hear me have like a really strong opinion or say something that people might not necessarily all agree with. But I absolutely 100% believe that Christmas is a stolen holiday. It took it directly from Yule because if you celebrate Christmas, then Yule, you already celebrate. You just moved it 4 days ahead. That's it. Yule, we have a tree. It is a festival of lights. Basically, the whole premise of it is that on the winter solstice, it is the longest night of the year. And ancient people believed that they would need to show the sun that the earth needed it, that it was still warm, that there was still light on earth, so that way it would remind the sun to come out in the morning. So they would light big fires and they would have candles on the trees, and there are all kinds of different folklore about fairies and such for the trees. Just again depends on what path you follow. For me, it is that time of year that it is the darkest. A lot of us are suffering with, seasonal depression. And so it is the darkest for us. It is that pinnacle of the least amount of light that we're going to get. And again, for those of us that, suffer from seasonal depression, the light is one of the things that is throwing you into it. So for me, it is that dark moment. It's that this is the absolute depth of winter, and things are at its brink, right? It's that hope. That holiday is that hope. That hope that not everything will always be dark. That if I light this candle, I may start a fire that will warm me. It's that. That's what Yule is. It's just a hope that everybody and everywhere can live with joy and authenticity. You know, things won't be so dark always. So for me, as you can see, Yule's a very spiritual thing. Just as Samhain is very, very, very spiritual for me, Yule is equally spiritual for me. I also, in my practice, see Yule as a time of not necessarily complete thinning of the veil, like Samhain, where we can kind of communicate with our ancestors easier, but I do consider Yule a part of thinning of the veil because I seem to be able to communicate with my ancestors easier during that time. So, Zarabeth, what's up? Absolutely a stolen holiday. Thank you. I also feel very strongly about this when people correct me when I wish. I was watching a video earlier, Zarabeth, and it was Kirk Cameron, and he was like, Christmas. The pagans are trying to steal Christmas from us. And I was like, huh? Huh? Wait, what? Wait, y'all stole our holidays. Wait, what? What's happening? So yeah, like Yule is absolutely like the reason why Christmas exists, because every bit of Yule, the things that you celebrate, the Yule log, the Yuletide carols, um, all. Yeah, he did. He did. Zarabeth, he did. I was like, wait, what? uh, yeah. You know, in our house, Christine, when the kids were very little, because we did our best to raise our children without religion in their lives. Now, did it come into their lives from different means? Yes, like grandparents and other parents and things like that. But for us, when the kids were little, despite how my husband and I actually feel about Christmas, because I have some very negative feelings towards that particular holiday. And I think that's why it was so important for me to take on Yule and say, I no longer have to associate with those bad memories. I have this, and I get to still celebrate it in the way that I've always celebrated it, and I'm comfortable with it. But we would do the tree. Now our tree were always a little different. One year we had McDonald's toys as ornaments. McDonald's toys. We always had some type of action figures. Mortal Kombat was very much in the tree most of the time. So, yeah, I'm Christine. I'm with you on that one. Zarabeth, me too. Zarabeth, me too. I am always trying not to get angry about these things. Like I try to think of what was going on during those time periods, and like I try to justify all of it in my head, but then there's that part of me that's like, I've been told, like, yeah, bad things happen to you, but then you grew up and you got to make choices. Same goes with everybody in history, right? Like, okay, we grew up, now we get to make different choices. Stop stealing. Like, give it back. Your mom had organized and shoved down. Yeah. Right? See, yeah, that's it. Just letting you know what she believed. And that's very similar to what we've done. We've made them available. I made religious text available in the home so that way if they wanted to learn, once they got old enough, once I knew that they had reading comprehension skills and could critically think, then I'd let them, here, you can try this one. You see that? Okay, you can read it. We'll talk about it. uh, hey, Alicia, how are you? Okay, so what are we doing? The paste. So I'm making this particular, this is what we're making is a wish box. Now, I think we're going to bleed into next Witchy Wednesday to finish this up. All right, because it's going to have to dry at some point. So what is a wish box? For in my family, one of the things that we like to do for Yule is we will have a wish box. And we will write down wishes for people in our family and put them in the wish box. And then I'll take the wish box and I'll put it up in the closet until the following Yule. And the following Yule, I'll take the wish box down and I open it up. And as we're sitting around the bonfire, I read the wishes out. And we'll see if their wishes came true. Were they able to manifest good intentions for their siblings or, their grandparents? What did they do? And then we write down more wishes, put them back in the wish box, and I put it back up. And then the following year, take it back down. So it's a neat little tradition. It's a nice way of exchanging gifts without exchanging gifts, right? Do we exchange gifts? Sort of. Yes and no. Like, is it a big deal in our family? Not really. Not, the kids are older. They really don't have any of a big deal about it. But we do things like this, and I do make them things because that's what moms do. We make stuff, right? Last year for me, it was really important for Yule for the kids to understand that being their mom and creating this new traditions and these new parts of our family were really important, and that food was really important for us too. And all the kids had a very specific mom meal that they liked. So I made out of resin, made little resin book covers and then put pages in between those covers and hand wrote all the recipes that they grew up with. And they all had a special recipe in their book that the others did not. So that's what we did. Hey, Ace, how are you, kiddo? Zarabeth, it was probably really nice. I'm very envious. That's how you got to be raised. Okay. So we're going to make this slightly witchy though, because I want to enchant this so that way the wishes that go in there are more likely to come true, right? That's what I want to do. So when I go to make my paste, I have moon water, all right? Then inside my flour, I have some rose protection powder. Rose protection powder is just rose petals and eggshells mixed up. I believe there might be a little... No, there's no lavender in there. Sometimes I'll put lavender in there. That's why I smelled it. But I use rose protection powder. And the reason why it's rose is because rose is love to me. Anytime that I'm trying to do something for my family, I'm going to use roses because I associate roses with love. Now, the eggshell is protection. So I'm not only enchanting this box with the love that I have for my family, but I'm also protecting it. I'm protecting the wishes that are inside of it. And I am just going to put a little bit in there. Not too much. Just a little. Right. And then I'm going to add cinnamon. Again, cinnamon is one of those go-to herbs for me to kind of boost some things up, to kind of supercharge it a bit. So cinnamon, one, is the attractants of abundance for me. Two, cinnamon is for love. And three, cinnamon is for strength. So I will put a little bit of cinnamon in here. All right. And then I'm going to put my moon water in. Now, as far as the consistency goes, if you've never made paper mache before, you want the consistency of like pancake batter. If you've never made pancake batter, hold on, I'll show you. And you would go just a little bit of water at a time. Don't put too much because then you have to add more flour and then you have more paste than what you really need. So I am stirring in a clockwise motion. Why clockwise? Because I'm putting my intentions in here. I'm setting my intentions as I am going clockwise. If you were trying to remove something, then you would go counterclockwise. But right now I am going clockwise to set my intentions. That this is my little enchanted box and it is going to protect the wishes that reside inside of it. And it's going to amplify those wishes and that energy that's in there. And that cinnamon is going to supercharge that stuff. Let's see. Hey, Amanda, how are you? Cinnamon is the best, Christine. Oh my gosh, I love cinnamon. Amanda, I actually did some apple slices a few days ago. Oh, I bet that just smells lovely in your house. Hey, Chad, how are you, kiddo? All right. So what is the consistency that I'm looking for? Like I said, I am looking for pancake batter. And so pancake batter is sort of like that. It's not too runny. And it's not too thick. I'm trying to get it to where you can see it. There you go. So it's not too runny, but it's not too thick either. That's what I'm looking for. All right. The other thing that if you don't have this is perfectly fine. I'm going to just add just a little bit of this because I already have it to the consistency that I want. But something that you can do with your moon water is you can actually stick cinnamon sticks inside there. And you can create your own cinnamon moon water. I use this kind of stuff for almost every type of spell that I do. I will use cinnamon. I absolutely adore cinnamon. I also really like the smell. Unfortunately, my husband's asthmatic, so I cannot use a whole lot of like smelly stuff. So with even the cinnamon, I gotta go low. I love him too much. I don't want to knock him off. All right, what are we going to use for the paper? Now, you can use whatever you want for the paper, whatever you have handy. If you get the newspaper and you got a bunch of that hanging around, cut it in strips, use it, right? If you don't have any newspaper, you can use tissue paper. You can even use toilet paper. And I thought I had a roll of toilet paper around here somewhere because I use toilet paper a lot in different creations. So I try to keep a roll, but I don't see it around. You can use tissues. You can use paper towels. All right. My paper towels have like this weird pattern to them, and I don't want that on there. So I'm going to use tissues. These are cheap tissues that I bought for my classroom. So I can use them here. All right. Yes, I buy cheap tissues because we go through like 2 boxes a week. So when I buy tissues for my classroom, I buy cheap tissues. The school will supply them, but the school's tissues are even worse, y'all. They're so cheap. They hurt those babies' noses and they hurt my nose, and we're just in my classroom we're gonna get like somewhat soft. You know, these aren't gonna have lotion on them, but they're okay. All right, what I'm doing with this, since it is a tissue, this was a 3-ply tissue, so I'm just peeling it apart. If you have the little napkins, little party napkins, and you'd like to use those, you can use those as well. I'm going to have to put several layers, or I'm going to need to color my paste. I can color my paste. You can color your paste. You can take food coloring and color your paste. Because I have the resin stuff, I have a really pretty gold mica powder, and I've never done this before, but I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see what it looks like. See if we can do a little gold mica. They did. Oh no, Chad, I'm sorry you're not feeling good. Oh, bye, Christine. Ah, I bet they smell great, Amanda. I have sand snack. What? My eyes couldn't see that word. I was like, what? I have gold pigment right here that we're going to put in. Tissues. Okay. Oh, you've got tissues, Zarabeth. Good. Okay. Use those. I'm going to put the gold pigment in here, and I'm just going to, just eyeball it because that's how I always do pigment, and that's probably why my pigment always turns out not the same. That's why it always turns out not the same. It's always weird looking. So I put mica pigment in here. We're just going to see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe it'll turn gold. Maybe it won't. It's doing something. It's looking a certain way. It's kind of a mustardy color right now. I wonder when it dries, I wonder what color it will be. But right now it's like a mustardy color. I love it when we do this on this channel. It's like, all right, we're going to try it. Let's see. What's the worst that could happen? It always comes out really cool, though. Like, whenever we've done that, like, man, let's try. It works. Okay. So this is what it looks like. Ew. All right. Now, you can apply it with your fingers because all it is flour and water. There's nothing toxic in there. All right. You can apply it with your fingers. Now, if you've put in certain types of herbs in there, depending on what herbs you put on, sometimes you might need to wear gloves. Cinnamon doesn't bother my skin, and neither does rose. So if I touch it, it's not going to be a big deal. But if you have sensitivities to certain herbs and you put herbs in this, wear gloves. Okay? Just wear gloves. I am going to use a little foam paintbrush. That's what this is. It's just a little sponge foam paintbrush. And I'm going to first take some of the paste and I'm going to dab it on just like that. And I'm just going to get like a little bit of a layer going, something that the tissue can stick to. Because right now, as it's dry, the tissue won't stick to it, and you will end up with a bigger mess than you want on your hands. All right, so I've got a little bit of a layer right here. And you can just see it's just a little layer, okay? And I'm going to take that and lay it on. Press it in with your hands and then take some more paste and dab it on. Yes, it's going to want to come up until you have really laid it down thick. That is going to keep wanting to pull up. All right. So that's why you got to take it as thick as you can get it on there, lay it in there, and just try to keep it down for that first layer. That first layer is so hard. On every paper mache that I've ever done, that first layer kicks my rear end every time. There we go. Now, I like when I get the little lines and stuff in there because when it dries, it gives this really cool organic texture. Okay? It's a really cool organic texture. But if you don't like something to have an organic look, then you can pull and smooth it over until you're happy with it. Me, I love that organic look. So I am not too concerned about it looking a certain way. And as we go around, we just repeat the step until we get all the way around. The bottom, as you can see, as I'm getting it all gooped over, the bottom I can easily tear off. And then I can use this part. Okay? I am okay, Chad. I am waiting some news. So if y'all want to send me some extra good vibes, I'd appreciate it. I'm waiting some news. And I'm hoping the news will go well. That's all I can say for now. Y'all are like, wait, that's not fair. Oh, I see a trend on TikTok, by the way, for those of you that are on there. There's a trend on TikTok that's like, what's the unrealistic thing you want for Yule? What's the unrealistic thing you guys want for Yule? Like, if you could have anything, but you know you can't get this, what's the one thing that you would ask for? I'm interested. I want to see what you guys would ask for. It's the one thing. I want to know. What would you ask for? I hate that this lags so much because it takes me a minute before I see what you guys actually post. I had to think about mine. I was like, what's the unrealistic thing that I would want? And there's a couple of like really unrealistic things. Some of them are like your stereotypical wants, right? And then some of them are also your stereotypical like sad things. What would you want? Wait, realistically, or like superpowers and fictional Yule Wish? Ooh. Now that's a good question. That's a good question. See, Amanda went straight supernatural with Jared. Like, Jared was just like out of the box. I want to shoot fireballs. Poo pew. Right out of the eyeballs. Just stare at somebody. What kind of day did Jared have, Amanda? Like, he came over here and he's like, violence. I would love to have an... It looks like from here, eclectic memory, but I don't think that's what you said. Okay, so supernaturally, what would I do? Oh my gosh, I don't know what I would want to do supernaturally. I know, like, realistically what I want that's unrealistic. Like, oh, let's see. Supernaturally, I would want to be able to teleport anywhere. Anywhere I want to go, I want to teleport. For a couple of reasons. One, because I hate getting up early in the morning, and my body naturally does it because of anxiety and being an old lady. I would love to be able to teleport, though, so that way I can sit my butt on the couch a little bit longer in the mornings and drink an actual cup of coffee instead of putting it in a to-go cup and drinking it when it's cold, because by the time I get to it, it's cold. That's what I would like. I would like a teleporter. I'd like to teleport places. Realistically, and definitely not gonna happen, but I would love to be rich. Zarabeth, you and me both. I would love to win the lottery. My realistic one is, I was saying this earlier, I would love to be in a block home. I have lived in a trailer all my life, y'all. Oh, God. And I would love my unrealistic Yule. That's what I want for Yule. I want to live in a house. Oh, but also unrealistic Yule. I want to win money so that way I can help people. Does that sound silly at all? Like, I want to be rich, just like you said, Zarabeth, because there's too many people that need things. And my heart wants to give, you know? So I get rich and buy you a house. Hey, I like this idea, Zarabeth. I am on board for this. You know, if you need, free tarot for life. Don't I already give free tarot though? Chad, I would be able to relive as I can't see the word, of an old, again, don't like this age at all. I agree. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be a cool, unrealistic Yule gift, is go back in time. Oh, what time? Man, that's difficult because each time period has its flaws. Like, there's some things that are absolutely perfect about each time period, and then there's some things that are just like, man, that's messed up. Ugh. What time period? Dang. That's a good one, Chad. That's a good one. Now that's got my head spinning. I'm like, oh, what time period would you be in? What time period? Time travel. Yes, Zarabeth. Not silly at all. I want to buy foreclosed homes and fix them up to house struggling families and veterans. Yeah. Yeah. A lady that's actually a friend of mine. A friend of mine is working towards her goal, and her goal is that she would like to one day own a piece of property that houses abused women and children, but not like, it's not just like a safe house. It's not a safe house. It's for those that are beyond the safe house. Like, you've already gotten out and you're doing okay, but you still need that camaraderie of, like, other people that have been through it with you and other kids that have been through it with you. So, like, you guys can talk because you're all kind of the same. You've all been through a very similar trauma to one another. So, a place where you can come to, like, heal and hang out and just be with people that get it and get what the panic feels like. I was like, oh man, that is a cool dream. That's a real cool dream. I like that. Mercenaries. Okay, Chad. All right. You see how much of the Viking lore that I know, right? Yes, like the village helping each other. Exactly. Exactly. I thought that was super cool. Like, yeah. Yeah. I would dig that. I would dig, seeing that actually come to fruition, and think about how many people it can help. Like, you've been through a trauma, and sometimes it's hard because other people don't understand that trauma. They don't understand what it was like, those feelings were like, right? So imagine a place where those people can come together and be like, yeah, I did this, but we lived through it and we're talking about it, and this is what we're on the other side now, right? I was like, man, that was really cool. And then also the place would also provide resources for these people. because oftentimes, even though you're on the other side of the abuse, you're still struggling hard, right? And so the idea was that this would be a place for resources as well. I really like that idea. I thought that was a cool thing. Unrealistic Yule gift, right? That would be neat if we could do that, if we could give some people things that they want to do for others. That would be a cool mission. Like, we find a way to give other people their dream to give back to others. Does that make sense? Am I making sense, or is this sounding really dumb to you guys? Like, I think it would just be neat to say, oh, you want to do something cool for people? All right, here's the money to do it. Or here's the building to do it. Here's the people that'll get it done, right? Like, putting people in touch with the resources they need in order to help other people. That's cool. Right? Right, Amanda? It's a really cool idea. It's a really cool idea. All right, while we were talking, I put another couple of layers on this. Now you see that we can still see through it. And that's fine, because we are going to paint this. Right now, it just has this really neat kind of textured skin. Now, if you didn't want to be able to see through it and say you don't have any paint, right? The pigment, it just turned it this weird color, right? So the pigment didn't work. Probably can use a different pigment and it would work, but this one didn't work. The food coloring would work, but mica powders, not much. So I have finished the bottom part. I am going to do the top now. I'm going to put some things on the top, just so it gives it that texture, and then we're going to let it dry. Next week we will paint it. So like I said, this is going to be a two-parter in order to finish this, but next week we will paint it. The colors that are associated with Yule are red and green and blue, white, silver, and gold. All right. So what do you think we should paint it? What color should we paint this? Chad, or an order of mercenaries for hire. That's pretty cool. Well, cool. And England king wiped home and order. I'm sorry, my brain, not my brain, but my eyes are having a hard time reading, and there's numbers, and I don't know why. My brain is like, no, I'm not talking to you. This is not something I'm not gonna get it through right now. Again, I am just stippling the paste on top of here, so that way the actual paper has something to grab a hold of. And I'm going to go pretty thick this time, just because last time I was having issues with certain areas, so I'm going to try to make it a little bit thicker and see if I can get it to stay a little bit better. All right. It's got the weirdest, I don't know. It kind of looks like, I can't explain. I don't know what it looks like. It's just this weird textured looking stuff. Ooh, a deep green. That would be good. A blue with silver. Oh my God. So many good ideas. Do a deep green. Do I do a silver? You know what? I'm going to see what not greenery, but what types of flowers I have in my little flower box. I keep odd and end flowers. Just if I ever go to a yard sale, or a family member's getting rid of stuff and they've got a bunch of fake flowers, I'll take them. So I might be able to find one that's red. And if I find one that's red, Zarabeth, we're doing green. All right? We're doing green. going to do green and gold. Right? But if I can't find a red flower, I think Amanda might get her pick on that one. Amanda's like, oh. Oh, you guys now have me really thinking about that whole, like, how to help others become more successful, and like how do you give somebody the opportunity to give to other people, right? What I'm doing over here with the popsicle stick is I'm pushing down on the paper and then I'm pulling away with the popsicle stick so that way it tears pretty evenly. I know that you probably can't see it on camera very well. I hold down and then I just pull it away. I'm doing it with a popsicle stick because I can get a little bit larger area with a popsicle stick than with my finger. Once I get the texture that I'm looking for, that skin looking texture, that's when I say, okay, enough, and we're going to let it dry. We're going to let it dry. Now, one of the things that I do for Yule is we have a big feast. There in I say ancient times, and it feels so weird when you say it that way. I'm looking for a better way to say what I'm trying without sounding completely moronic. But in ancient times, they actually would serve wild boar on Yule. So that's why we serve ham on Christmas, is because of this wild boar attachment. The wild boar goes back to the wild hunt. And if you don't know what that is, Google it. I'm going to say Google it. I normally don't tell you to Google things. The wild hunt is just really hard for me to explain. It's different. It's different. So it's hard for me to explain. But because of those coincidences and the things that go along with it, we have ham for Christmas and for Yule. I serve ham. I will serve mashed potatoes because my family loves mashed potatoes. I will make bread. I also make something called wassail. It is apple cider with rum, whiskey, lemon, cinnamon, sugar, and clove. And I will put it in a slow cooker and I will let it just kind of heat up all day. Once it's time to drink it, it's nice and warm. It feels really warm going down. It's just a very nice Christmassy Yule type drink. Silver. You love silver. Sure, Chad, send me the video. When I get a chance, I'll watch it. Right? All awesome ideas. Oh, all right. So we have these two now. I'm going to let it dry. And if you noticed, I did not put any paper up at the lip here because this particular box needs that lip in order to close. And then I also didn't put any paper underneath or on the sides because it needs that lip to close. We set it aside, and next week this will be perfectly dry and ready for paint. I will, before we start filming next week, before we go live next week, I will probably hit it with a primer. If you do not have spray paint at home and you don't have any paint at home, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. All right? Take some pretty, not fabric, but take some pretty tissue paper and cover it. And cover it until you don't see the words on the thing anymore. It's all right. It's whatever you have, right? It's whatever you have on hand you can use. And you can make anything look pretty just by using it in a different way. My favorite thing to do is go into a hardware store and start looking at things not for what they're actually for, but what could I make them into, right? And it helps me as a haunter when I'm making props because I have that ability. I think about things and I'm like, I look at a pool noodle and I see vines, right? I look at baccarat, which is meant for like, I believe, weathering and stuff. I have no clue what it's used for. I just know that I use it for vines, right? Oh, I have to look up a recipe for that wasa. Oh yeah, it is so good. Zarabeth, it is so good. So we have that. We feast, right? We have a big feast. Um, we sit around a bonfire and drink. We sit around a bonfire and drink. That's the extent of Yule for us. Exchange gifts, have a good time, just sit around and enjoy each other's company. Now, for me, it personally goes a little bit further that night. I typically will have some type of ritual that I will do just as in a remembrance for all the things that I have received, all the things that I am thankful for this year. This is my moment to look and reflect. I'm not manifesting anything that night. I'm not, besides like the wishes, sending out the wishes of intent, right? But I am not working on anything in particular. I focus really, really hard on just putting out peace, grounding myself, and being thankful for what I have, and giving thanks and sending out offerings to the universe. There in some traditions they will offer libations to the earth, right? If you're gonna do that, make sure it's not salt or anything that can harm your waterways, okay? That's all I ask. I miss bonfires with oh I last year we did not have a bonfire, but we did manage to have something outside because there hadn't been the vaccine yet, and because I am immune compromised, we couldn't even have our children over, and it was really bothering me. So we figured out a way to still have them over. But they were all like in the yard. We have a big yard, and so they were in the yard like spread apart. None of us could like really get near each other, and if we had to get food, it was like we were like traveling around each other. But we were outside and wearing masks, and when we weren't, it was because we were eating and we were sitting like 12 feet away, and I'm freaking out the whole time. So last year's Yule was interesting, to say the least. It was interesting. It was not like our typical Yule, so I'm hoping this year we can have the bonfire and just sit around and enjoy each other's company with not any stress, right? I think that's what I'm ready for, is to breathe a minute. And through this pandemic, none of us can breathe, right? We're all very, very anxious. Oh, hold on, guys. I'm having trouble. Hold on. Yeah, that spam crap is killing me, right? It's so dumb. I'm getting that on TikTok too. I'm not getting like that. But I am getting like, if I have a video that does pretty well, I'm getting these weird comments like Dr. So and so's love spell helped me get my husband back, or some stupid crap like that. So I have to like report the account that put the comment on there. I report the comment, and then I go to the account that they say that they're speaking for, and I go and report that account. And it's always like they have like 12 people that they're following, or they have 12 followers, and it's just really weird. The whole accounts are weird. So it's like somebody that's pretending to be somebody else in order to spam. And I don't know. It just started happening like a week ago. Yeah, Amanda. We had it last night. Now we have it again. I report it. I block them. You know, I'm lucky that we have, we don't have a high number of people in here. So it's easy for me to do that right now. I think it was, as this channel gets bigger, I'll probably need moderators. So I know, Chad, next year I want to celebrate the full 12 days too, man. I love that. I don't know if my liver could handle it, but all right, my lovelies. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for starting our Yule Wish box with me. All right. I still have paste left. So what I will do is I will actually put this in a little container. It will not keep forever because it has flour and it will mold. So it won't keep forever. I will need to use it within the next couple of days. So if you've got something that you are going to do, either plan to have a lot of usage, like a lot of tissue put on the top of it, or maybe a bigger box. All right. But I'm probably going to use mine on another box in just a little bit. So, my lovelies, next week, I'll see you for Tarot Tuesday. And then on Witchy Wednesday, we will finish up the box and I will have more facts for you about Yule. Actually, we're going to look at the different ways that it is celebrated around the world and different traditions and where those traditions are, as well as share with you guys some interesting genealogical facts about the place that I'm from, which is weird. I did not see this coming. So next week I will share that with you. Like, I found something out about myself. All right, my lovelies. Be happy. Be safe. Know that I love you. All right. And I will see you all next week.